Good morning, dear students. A warm welcome to all of you for our today's online session for the subject Science and Technology Section A. In our previous session on Saturday, we have started with a new chapter from Section A, chapter number 5, Heat, from Physics. We have studied about latent heat. Some concepts related to heat we had started. We have studied about the latent heat of fusion and latent heat of vaporization. Also, we had studied the new topic related to heat, regelation. We will just revise what is regelation and then we will start with the new topic for today, anomalous behavior of water by using Hope's apparatus, specific heat capacity of any substance, and heat exchange, the principle of heat exchange. So let us revise about regelation and then move towards anomalous behavior of water. Regelation. From the word itself, I had told you yesterday, regelation means phenomenon of ice melting under pressure and refreezing when the pressure is released or relieved. A very good example of ice ball which is enjoyed by you at the seashores or resorts was taken up. In short, in physics, when you speak about regelation, we had studied by using the case of this activity. We had seen how an ice slab, it remains in the same position without breaking even after applying pressure. So that phenomenon in which the ice converts to liquid due to the applied pressure and then reconverts to ice once the pressure is removed is called as regelation, and hence the word, when you speak something again, you say repeat, reconfirm the things. So gelling up of the ice again, hence regelation. Here what happens? The melting point of ice, it becomes lower than 0 degrees Celsius due to the applied pressure. What does this mean? At 0 degrees Celsius, the ice gets converted into water, and as soon as this pressure is removed, the melting point is restored to 0 degrees Celsius and water gets converted into ice again. Then we had just got ourselves introduced with anomalous behavior of water yesterday. I had told you some exceptional behavior of water, that when you heat the water from 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius, it contracts instead of expanding, which is, you can say, something exceptional as compared when you compare it with other liquids. Other liquids, what happens? When they are heated to a certain temperature, they expand, and then when they are cooled, they contract. So this exceptional behavior of water between the temperature of 0 degrees Celsius to 4 degrees Celsius is anomalous behavior of water. And with the graph, I had told you that density of water is maximum at 4 degrees Celsius when the volume of water is minimum. Now this anomalous behavior of water, it can be explained, it can be studied with the help of Hope's apparatus. You can see the figure of Hope's apparatus over here. In Hope's apparatus, you will see a flat bowl. The apparatus here in Hope's apparatus are a flat bowl, a cylindrical container, 2 thermometers, water and freezing mixture. You can see a flat bowl, it is attached to a cylindrical container. There is a provision to attach 2 thermometers. One thermometer is T2, which you can see here above this bowl, and T1, which is below the bowl on the cylindrical container. We have seen a flat bowl attached to a cylindrical container and 2 thermometers, one above the flat bowl and one below the flat bowl. Water is filled in the cylindrical container and a mixture of ice and salt, which is known as freezing mixture, it is put in the flat bowl. Now, during the study of anomalous behavior, this exceptional behavior of water, using this Hope's apparatus, temperature T1 and T2, this is T1 and T2, these temperatures are recorded after every 30 seconds. After how many seconds? After every 30 seconds, both the temperatures are recorded. They are noted down, and then the temperatures are plotted on the y-axis and time in minutes on the x-axis. You can see here in this graph. Now this graph, what does it show? What does this indicate? It shows that initially both the temperatures T1 and T2 are identical. Initially both the temperatures are same. However, you see as time passes by, temperature T1 of water, you can say this is the temperature T1 of water. In the lower part of the cylinder, it decreases fast. You can see the decrease in temperature from 12 to 8. While temperature T2 of water, this is the temperature T2, in the upper part of the cylinder, it decreases comparatively slowly as compared to T1. However, you will see once the temperature T1 of the lower part, it reaches 4 degrees Celsius. Now this T1 has reached 4 degrees Celsius. It remains almost stable at that temperature. But here T2 decreases slowly to 4 degrees Celsius. You can see here it is decreasing up to 4 degrees Celsius, and thereafter since T2 starts changing rapidly, it records 0 degrees Celsius first. You can see here T2 is recording 0 degree first, and after that the lower thermometer T1 records 0 degree Celsius. Look at the time interval. Who is attaining 0 degree first? T2. What does this graph show? Initially both the temperatures are same. Then T1, that is the first temperature, in the upper part of the cylinder, it is the lower part of the cylinder, it decreases fast as compared to T2. T2 is decreasing slowly initially. At 4 degrees Celsius, almost T1 will remain stable, but T2 goes on decreasing fast and it reaches 0 degree first. Now, the point of intersection of the two curves, you can see both these curves. The point of intersection of both these curves, it shows the temperature of maximum density, that is 4 degrees Celsius. Yesterday I had told you that density of water is maximum at this temperature. Remember the value, it can be asked under a multiple choice question. Now how you can explain these observations? Let us go to the Hope's apparatus diagram once again. Initially we have seen that the temperature of water in the middle of the cylinder, it lowers due to this freezing mixture in the outer bowl. Since the temperature of water there it decreases, its volume also decreases, but its density increases. Little bit knowledge of density, volume you should have. The water with higher density, it will move in the downward direction in the cylinder. Therefore, the lower thermometer T1, this is the thermometer in the lower portion below the flat bowl, it shows a rapid fall in the temperature, and this continues till the temperature of water becomes equal to 4 degree. We had seen the graph. When the temperature of water starts decreasing below 4 degree, its volume increases and density decreases, and hence therefore moves in the upward direction. So what happens? The temperature of water in the upper part, that is T2, therefore decreases rapidly to 0 degrees Celsius, and the temperature of water in the lower part T1, however, it remains at 4 degrees Celsius for some time, and then slowly and gradually it will go on decreasing up to 0 degree Celsius. And this exceptional behavior of water thus can be explained with the help of Hope's apparatus. Now, how the questions can be asked on this part? One question, draw a neat label diagram of Hope's apparatus, or they will provide you with a graph, and based on the graph different questions can be asked. When we discuss the textual exercise you will come to know. Or the third part is different phenomena are based on this anomalous behavior of water. One is in the regions with cold climate, how the aquatic plants, animals, they survive even when the atmospheric temperature goes below 0 degrees Celsius. Or water pipes in the winter in cold regions, they break, even the rocks crack. So all these examples which are based on anomalous behavior of water, that examples they can ask as give reasons. Our next topic for this chapter is, we cannot say a topic, small definitions related to heat with the heading dew point and humidity. These are the different topics which are related to heat. You all know, right from the beginning you have studied that about 71% of the earth's surface is covered with water, and on the surface of the earth constant evaporation of water takes place. Hence water vapor is always present in the atmosphere, means water vapor is a part of the atmosphere. The amount of water vapor in the atmosphere, it helps us to understand the state of daily weather. About the weather, climate, you have studied last year in the 9th standard. This water vapor which is present in the atmosphere, it makes the air moist. So our first definition is, the moisture in the atmosphere is called humidity. We say today the climate is quite humid. So this humidity, this physical quantity, it depends on the amount of moisture, on the amount of water vapor present in the air. Now when the air contains maximum possible water vapor, it is said to be saturated with vapor at that particular temperature. If you take a glass of water, and in that glass of water 20 tablespoons of sugar can be accommodated. If 1 or 2 grains also you add extra after that, the water will not be able to accommodate that sugar and it will remain undissolved, because the maximum capacity of water to hold the sugar is over. So similarly here, when the air contains maximum possible water vapor, then you can say that it is saturated with vapor at that particular temperature. If the vapor contained in the air is less than the maximum limit, the air is said to be unsaturated. If only 10 teaspoons of sugar you add, then you can say that the water is not fully saturated with sugar. Still, if you add some sugar in it, it will be able to hold that sugar. Next, suppose unsaturated air at a certain temperature is taken. Unsaturated air at a certain temperature is taken and its temperature is decreased. If you take the water and if you decrease the size of the glass, that example I am correlating, a temperature is reached at which the air becomes saturated with vapor. So in that small glass, if you add 10 tablespoons of sugar, that water will get saturated, because now you have reduced the quantity of water by reducing the size of the glass. Similarly here, if temperature is decreased, a temperature will be reached at which the air becomes saturated with vapor, and this temperature is called the dew point temperature. Two definitions we have studied. One is humidity, one is dew point temperature. Now the vapor content in the air, the water vapor content in the air, it is measured using a physical quantity called absolute humidity. This is one of the fill-ups in the textual exercise ahead. So remember carefully, the quantity of water vapor content in the air, it is measured using a physical quantity called absolute humidity. So the mass of water vapor present in unit volume of air is called absolute humidity and is measured by a unit kg per meter cube. Just now we have seen the definition of absolute humidity. Also we had seen its unit. See, remember all these definitions, units. They can be asked for 1 mark, directly defined or under MCQs. Our next definition is relative humidity. The ratio of actual mass of vapor content in the air. Means what mass of vapor is present in the air for a given volume and temperature to that required to make the air saturated with vapor at that temperature. It is called as relative humidity. To make the air saturated with vapor at that particular temperature, how much amount of water vapor is required, that is relative humidity. So percentage relative humidity formula is actual mass of water vapor content in the air in a given volume upon mass of vapor needed to make the air saturated in that volume, multiply by 100, you get percentage relative humidity. Now the relative humidity at this dew point, just now I have told you about dew point, it is 100%. So if the relative humidity is more than 60%, then we feel that the air is quite humid. But if the relative humidity is less than 60%, we feel the air is very dry. I hope each and every concept related to heat you have come to know. So total 4 definitions we have studied here. One is humidity, one is dew point temperature, one is absolute humidity, and one is relative humidity. All the 4 definitions, learn it by heart, learn the units which are used to measure them, also the formula. Now, a small, you can say, event related to this dew point humidity we are going to see here now with the help of an example. White trail is observed at the back of a flying plane. I don't know how many of you have witnessed this type of phenomenon in the atmosphere, in the air, but especially in the winter season. Now winter season is going to begin. So many of you have observed a white trail at the back of a flying plane in a very clear sky. You can see this plane is moving and leaving behind a white trail. What is this? How it is related to the different topics which we have studied now. Now as this plane flies in the sky, the vapor which is released by the aeroplane engine, you all know how an aeroplane works. So the vapor which is released by this aeroplane engine, it condenses and forms clouds. If the surrounding air, the atmospheric air surrounding the plane is having more relative humidity, it takes a long time for the white trail, which is formed by the condensation of what? Vapor. Vapor released by whom? Vapor released by the engine of the plane, to disappear. But if the relative humidity of the surrounding air is less, either the size of the white trail may be small or it may not even get formed. So this is based on condensation. This can be asked as a give reason in the exam. Give scientific reason for a white trail is observed at the back of a flying plane, especially in the winter season in a clear sky. So by making use of the concepts which we have studied related to dew point, relative humidity, condensation, you have to answer it. Our next small topic, you cannot say a topic, the units of heat. Heat is energy. Very first line I had told you in the beginning. Heat is a form of energy. So the units of energy will be applicable for heat. So SI unit is joule, CGS it is calorie. The amount of heat necessary to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius from 14.5 to 15.5 degrees Celsius is called 1 calorie heat. And same definition, the amount of heat necessary to raise the temperature of, in place of 1 gram, 1 kg of water by 1 degree Celsius from the same temperature, from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius, it is called as 1 kilocalories of heat. And as you always say, 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter, 1 kg is equal to 1000 gram. Similarly, 1 kilocalories is equal to 1000 calories. Remember these definitions. 1 calorie heat, 1 kilocalorie heat, units of heat, and the conversion of kilocalories into calories. Next topic which we are going to cover now is extremely important from board examination point of view, that is specific heat capacity of a substance. This is very important. It can be asked in the form of a 5 marks answer along with the diagram, or the activity will be placed ahead of you, and based on the activity you have to answer the questions. From this chapter, regelation, anomalous behavior of water, and the specific heat capacity, these three are very, very important topics. Now, to find out the specific heat capacity of any substance, the different materials which we require to carry out the activity are a tray with a thick layer of wax. This is a thick layer of wax. You can see a wax layer. Solid spheres of iron, lead and copper, but of equal mass. These are 3 spheres. You can say balls, but of equal mass. Metals are different. One is of iron, one is of copper, one is of lead. Burner or a spirit lamp for heating, and a large beaker. How you have to carry out the activity? You have to take these 3 spheres of iron, copper and lead of equal mass, and all the 3 spheres you have to put in boiling water in the beaker for some time. Now this should take place at the same moment. First you will take the iron and then you will put in boiling water, then you will take copper, will not do. All the 3 you have to immerse in the boiling water at the same time. Take the 3 spheres out of the water at the same time, and all the 3 spheres now will be at a temperature 100 degrees Celsius. Now you can ask me how 100 degrees Celsius? Because the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius and you have immersed all these 3 balls in the boiling water. Immediately you have to put these 3 spheres on the thick wax slab, and then you have to note, you have to observe the depth that each of the sphere it goes into the wax. Very simple experiment. 3 spheres are taken. One is of iron, one is of copper, one is of lead of equal weights, equal mass, and all the 3 at the same time are immersed in a beaker of water which is boiling water. All the 3 are taken out at the same time. Now the temperatures of the spheres will be 100 degrees Celsius. Immediately all the 3 spheres at the same time you are going to put them on the wax layer, and then you will find out which sphere goes to which depth in this wax layer. Now here the concept is the sphere which absorbs more heat from the water. The sphere which takes more heat from the water will give more heat to wax. 3 students are sitting. I am explaining the same concept to all the 3 students, but the student who will take more knowledge from me, that child will deliver more when speaking with other children. So here also the sphere which is going to absorb more heat from the water will give more heat to the wax. More wax will thus melt, and thus it will go more deeper inside the wax, and when observed it is seen that iron sphere, it goes deepest in the wax, followed by copper which goes to intermediate depth, and then lead sphere goes the least in the wax. What does this indicate? That for equal rise in temperature, the temperature was 100 degrees Celsius for all 3. The 3 spheres have absorbed different amounts of heat, and this means the property which determines the amount of heat absorbed by a sphere is different for all the 3 different spheres, and this property of a substance to absorb different heat is called as specific heat capacity. Look at the word also. Specific, it is particular for that particular substance to absorb, to take the amount of heat. So the capacity of that substance to absorb the heat is different for different substances, and this property is called as specific heat capacity. How you can define? The amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of a unit mass of an object by 1 degree Celsius is called the specific heat of that object, and this specific heat capacity is denoted by small letter C. SI unit is joules per degree Celsius kg, and CGS unit is calories per gram degree Celsius. I hope you have understood the meaning of specific heat capacity with the help of this small activity. Now they can explain the entire activity to you, and then they can ask us which sphere, looking at this figure, which sphere goes to the maximum depth, which sphere reaches to the minimum depth, which is in the middle, what may be the concept behind it, define that concept. This way questions can be asked in the exam, but a very very important topic. Now in this chart you can see the specific heat capacities of different substances are given in your textbook. Also on page number 68 they have given the name of the substance and the specific heat capacity in calories per gram degree Celsius. For water the specific heat is 1, paraffin it is 0.54, kerosene 0.52, aluminium 0.215, iron it is 0.110, copper 0.095, silver 0.056, and mercury it is 0.033. Now if you ask me the entire chart and to remember the specific heat capacity of each substance is not possible. So main you have to remember is for water, because the specific heat of water you have to use in numericals ahead. So for water you have to remember specific heat capacity is 1 calories per gram degree Celsius. Now two formulae you are going to study here. You all know that specific heat capacity of an object is denoted by small c. So if the specific heat of an object is C, the mass of the object if it is small m, and if the temperature of the object is raised by delta T degree Celsius, you know that the change in temperature is represented by delta T, then the heat energy absorbed by the object is given by m, mass of the object, multiply by C, that is the specific heat capacity of that object, multiply by rise in temperature. And in the same way, if the specific heat of an object is small c, the mass of the object is small m, and if the temperature of the object is decreased by delta T degree Celsius, then the heat energy lost by the object, here it is rise in temperature. So the heat energy is absorbed by the object. Here there is the fall in the temperature, decrease in temperature. Then the heat energy lost by the object will be given by m, mass of the object, multiply by small c, specific heat capacity of that object, multiply by delta T. Remember both this formulae. It is important in solving the numerical examples ahead. Now the last topic remaining for this chapter is the principle of heat exchange and the measurement of this specific heat, that is the mixing method and the calorimeter. That we will take up in our next session, and in the next session I am going to discuss the textual exercise for this chapter. Hence I request all of you to be present. Immediately tomorrow we have our next online session, so be present with the textbook and a pencil in your hand, because most of the phenomena, that is you can say about the anomalous expansion of water and all, it is related to the winter season, cracking of the pipes, or how the aquatic animals survive, that we are going to discuss in our next session. So go through the topics and be present with the textbook. Thank you, dear children.